Life's like a Texas poker game. You think you've got a winning hand, but someone flips the table, and you're left with junk. You trust in love and family, but sometimes, the people closest to you hide the sharpest knives. I'm Jake Sullivan. This is how I learned my gut was smarter than my wedding vows. I'm Jake "Red" Sullivan, a mechanic in a small town outside Austin, Texas. My red hair's brighter than a wildfire. I love cold Bud Light, barbecue ribs, and cruising the highway. Life felt like a fun country song, gritty and simple. Then I married Brittany Harper, the blonde high school queen who now works part-time at a nail salon. She lives for Instagram, always posing like a star. We tied the knot 2 years ago. I thought I'd hit the jackpot: hot wife, cozy rental house, dreams of kids running around. I wanted to be the best dad, not like my drunk old man who only griped about the Cowboys. But when Brittany gave birth to Mason, my world flipped. I was ready to teach him football and fix cars. Then I saw him. Mason had jet black hair, shiny like a shampoo ad. His eyes were dark brown, like espresso shots. I'm a redheaded lobster who burns in 5 minutes. Brittany's a blonde Barbie with blue eyes. Where'd this kid's hair come from? I told myself it was just the hospital lights messing with me. I tried to shrug it off, like believing a burnt steak still tastes good. But Sheila, the nosy neighbor who lives for gossip, dropped a bomb. She said, "Mason looks just like the guitarist from my barbecue last year. You know, the guy with long black hair, like young Johnny Cash." My heart sank. Sheila's mouth runs faster than a NASCAR race. She added, "That guy was wasted, and Brittany wasn't exactly sober either." I wanted to choke her, but Sheila's just the messenger, a drama-loving one. Doubt started chewing at me. I looked at Mason, searching for my nose or smile. Nothing. Just Brittany's dimples and that black hair, like it came from a fancy salon. I hit Google, diving into genetics like I was cramming for a biology test. It said black hair could be a recessive gene. But my family's all redheads or brunettes. Brittany's folks are a blonde army. Her dad's got brown hair, but no one's got black. The math wasn't adding up, and I wasn't buying it. I called my buddy Mitch, a vet who thinks he's a DNA expert from one college class. He said, "Red, unless you've got a secret Cherokee ancestor, that kid ain't yours. Get a DNA test at Walmart. They're cheap." I laughed, but a storm was brewing inside. A DNA test? It sounded crazy, but the idea stuck like a sad country tune. Brittany started acting weird. She'd giggle at her phone, then hide it when I walked in. She claimed it was nail salon gossip. I wasn't born yesterday. I needed answers, even if they'd burn my life to the ground. What's the wildest gut feeling you've ever had? Drop it in the comments. Hit like, subscribe, and ring that bell to catch the next chapter of this mess. Trust me, it's just getting started. After Mason was born, I felt like I'd stumbled into a movie I didn't sign up for. I wanted to be the dad from a diaper commercial, all smiles and cuddles. But Mason's black hair and deep eyes kept me up at night. They didn't match me or Brittany. In this tiny Texas town, doubt grows faster than weeds after a storm. Life with Brittany looked fine on the outside. She was busy posting Mason's pics on Instagram with sappy captions like "Mommy's little love." I was in the garage, wrenching on cars, trying to drown out my thoughts. But little things kept piling up. They were like cracks in a windshield, small at first, then ready to shatter. Brittany got sneaky. She'd tap away on her phone, fingers flying like she was texting a secret lover. When I got close, she'd flip the screen down fast. One night, I caught her laughing softly in the kitchen, her voice all sweet and flirty. I asked who it was. She said, "Just a friend from the salon," astonishingly quick. Her excuse didn't sit right. Her eyes had a flicker of panic, like she'd been caught stealing cookies. I started watching her closer. She was hiding something, and I wasn't dumb enough to ignore it. The way she dodged my questions felt like a red flag waving in my face. I wasn't sure what yet, but I was going to find out. Then Sheila, the town's gossip queen, cornered me while I was watering the lawn. She leaned over the fence, eyes gleaming like she'd struck gold. "Jake, that barbecue at my place last year," she said. "Brittany was real cozy with that long-haired guitarist. You know, the rockster wannabe with the earring?" My stomach twisted. I remembered that night, me flipping burgers, Brittany dancing near the stage. I brushed it off, but Sheila's words stuck like gum on a shoe. I went home and hit Google, searching for answers about black hair. The results were a mess of science jargon, dominant genes, recessive genes, probabilities. I'm no brainiac, But I knew the odds of two fair-haired folks making a black-haired kid were slimmer than winning the lottery. My family's red or brown-haired. Brittany's clan is a blonde convention. I called my brother Tommy, a poker-playing know-it-all who thinks he's Dr. Phil. Over a cheap whiskey, he said, "Red, either you're colorblind, or Brittany's playing you. Women hide stuff well, but not forever. Get a DNA test, man. Don't make me repeat myself." His words hit hard. I wanted to argue, but deep down, I knew he was right. Nights got rough after that. I'd stare at the ceiling while Brittany snored softly. I tried imagining Mason was mine, that his hair was just a cosmic prank. But Sheila's story, Brittany's texts, and those dark locks kept nagging me. I stopped holding Mason as much. Not because I didn't care, his giggles still melted me, but because I was scared of the truth. I couldn't keep living with this cloud over me. Mitch's Walmart DNA test idea didn't sound so crazy anymore. It was time to face whatever was behind the curtain, good or bad. I'm used to fixing problems with a wrench and some elbow grease. But this mess with Mason? No tool in my garage could touch it. Doubt buzzed in my head like an angry wasp. After Tommy's pep talk, I decided to play detective. Not the cool kind with a trench coat, but the kind who buys a DNA test at Walmart. One Saturday, Brittany was at the nail salon. I drove to Walmart, feeling like I was on a secret mission. My heart raced as I grabbed the test kit, tossing in some Doritos to look casual. The kit was cheap, like something you'd get in a cereal box. I paid quick, half expecting the cashier to give me a pitying look. She didn't, just scanned and moved on. At home, I opened the kit like it was a ticking bomb. Instructions were simple: swab my mouth, swab Mason's, mail it off. Easy, right? Except I had to sneak a sample from a baby while Brittany napped. She sleeps like a hibernating bear, so I had a solid hour. I crept into Mason's room, heart pounding. Mason was dozing, looking innocent. I whispered, "Sorry, kid, I need to know." Swabbing my mouth was a breeze, but Mason's was trickier. I fumbled like a rookie changing a tire. He squirmed, nearly woke, but I got the sample. I sealed the envelope, feeling like I just pulled off a heist. I sped to the post office, tossed the envelope in the mailbox like it was hot coal. Driving back, I wondered if I was crazy. If Mason was mine, I'd feel like a jerk for doubting Brittany. If not, what then? I pushed the thought away. I wasn't ready to go there yet. Days later, I played it cool around Brittany. She kept posting Mason's pics online, all smiles and hashtags. But she'd stare at me sometimes, like she sensed I was onto her. One night, she asked, "You okay? You look beat." I blamed work stress, but my gut screamed she was hiding something. I needed the test result fast. Waiting for the DNA results felt like sitting in a dentist's chair, dreading the drill. They said 1 week, but each day dragged like a bad movie. I buried myself in work, fixing cars, but my mind kept wandering. I pictured some lab tech shaking his head at my sample. Was I about to star in my own soap opera? My stomach churned at the thought. Brittany noticed I was off. One evening, as I zoned out during a sitcom, she sat close. "Jake, what's wrong? Talk to me." Her voice was soft, but her eyes looked nervous, like she knew I was digging. I mumbled about work being rough. Inside, I wanted to demand answers about that barbecue night. I started dodging Mason. Not because I didn't love him, his giggles still got me. But I was terrified of getting too attached. If he wasn't mine, the heartbreak would crush me. I called him kid instead of son, building a wall to protect myself. Brittany caught on, saying, "You barely hold him anymore. What's up?" I shrugged, claiming I was busy. But my heart was racing like I'd chugged Red Bull. Then Sheila showed up at the garage with cookies and gossip. "That guitarist from the barbecue," she whispered. "He bragged about hooking up with a blonde." Not saying it was Brittany, but her smirk said it all. I stuffed a cookie in my mouth to avoid snapping. Every night, I checked my email like a junkie. Spam, bills, nothing else. Was I turning my life into a low-budget thriller? But Brittany's sneaky texts and Mason's black hair kept me up. I wasn't crazy. I just needed the truth to stop this torture. The email hit my inbox while I was elbow deep in engine grease. Subject: Your DNA results. My heart stopped. I locked myself in the bathroom, opened the email, and scanned the jargon. One line hit like a punch: probability of paternity, 0%. Mason wasn't mine. I slumped to the floor, air sucked out of my lungs. Brittany knocked, asking if I was okay. I opened the door, phone in hand. "Mason's not my kid," I said, voice cold as ice. Brittany froze, her face pale. She stammered, "It's a mistake. Walmart tests are junk." I shoved the phone at her, showing the results. "No more lies, Brittany. What did you do?" She collapsed into a chair, eyes wet. After a long silence, she spilled. "At last year's barbecue, she got drunk, danced with a guitarist. Things went too far. She woke up in his tent, no name, just his black hair. She begged me to forgive her, saying I was Mason's real dad for caring for him. I laughed, not from joy but disbelief. You think I'll raise some stranger's kid after you lied for a year?" I was furious. Brittany sobbed, claiming it was a one-time mistake. I didn't care. I grabbed a bag, threw in some clothes, and drove to Tommy's. I left Brittany crying, her apologies useless. She kept saying I loved Mason. Yeah, I did. His smile broke my heart. But I wasn't about to play daddy to a kid who wasn't mine. Brittany's tears didn't move me. She'd built this mess, and I wasn't cleaning it up. Crashing at Tommy's felt like hiding from a war zone. He handed me a whiskey and said, "Welcome to the club of suckers." What's next? I wanted to drown my sorrows, but I had to end this. I hired Vince Russo, a divorce lawyer called the Bulldog. He grinned at my case. "No kid, no birth certificate? You're golden, Jake." Brittany didn't quit. She blew up my phone, begging me to come back for Mason. I ignored her. Then she showed up at Tommy's, holding Mason like a movie prop. "You can't abandon us," she yelled. The neighbors gawked. Tommy called the cops, and after 3 hours, they sent her packing. In court, Brittany played the victim, crying about me leaving her and Mason. Vince wasn't having it. He waved the DNA results, pointed out I never signed the birth certificate, and asked, "Why should my client pay for a kid that's not his?" Brittany argued I'd acted like a dad. Vince shot back, "And she acted like what, sleeping around?" The judge looked done with the drama. He ruled no child support, but I had to pay a tiny alimony. Enough for Brittany to buy some nail polish, I joked. She glared, but I was free. The courtroom felt like a rodeo where I dodged the bull. I walked out lighter, ready to move on. After court, I felt like I'd outrun a stampede. I left town for Austin, landing a job at a classic car garage. Austin's vibe, craft beer, live music, felt like a fresh start. I met Roxy, a tattoo artist with green hair and a sharp tongue. I told her my story. She laughed, cuckolded and still standing. "You're a legend, Red." Roxy was a breath of fresh air. We'd sip beers, joke about my past, and plan tattoos. Brittany, I heard through Tommy, was struggling as a single mom, leaning on friends for cash. I felt a pang of pity, but she'd made her bed. Mason's smile still haunted me, but I couldn't be his dad. Not with her lies. In Austin, I fixed up old Mustangs and laughed with Roxy. I wasn't the naive Jake anymore. I was Red, tougher, wiser, and ready for whatever came next. Life had thrown me a curveball, but I was swinging back. The road ahead looked good, and I was driving at full speed. My life's been a wild ride, like a TV series I didn't sign up for. From a dreamy mechanic to a guy burned by betrayal, I've seen it all. Brittany, Mason, and that small town are just a closed chapter now. They taught me one thing: trust your gut. It's smarter than any vow you'll ever make. I wanted to be the world's best dad. Turns out, I just needed to be me, Red Sullivan, the guy who fixes cars and laughs at life's punches. Roxy, my new sidekick, calls me a scratched-up classic car that still runs great. I'm not sure if I'm a Mustang or a rusty Chevy, but I'm rolling with it. Brittany's out there, scraping by as a single mom. I don't hate her anymore. What's the point? She dug her own grave. Mason, that black-haired kid, will grow up without me. It stings, but I did what was right. Sometimes, love means walking away. Here's my advice: listen to that voice in your head. If something feels off, don't ignore it. Grab a DNA test, face the truth, and don't be afraid to hit reset. Life's like fixing a car, sometimes you gotta tear it apart to see what's broken. Then you rebuild and drive on. I'm in Austin now, working on vintage rides, drinking with Roxy, who calls me Carrot Top when I mess up. I survived the drama, and I'm stronger for it. What's your craziest life twist? Spill it in the comments. Hit like, subscribe, and ring that bell for more of my chaos. Maybe I'll tell you about the time Roxy botched my tattoo. Catch you later.